panel. Who knows who we are? Yay!
You know more than we do.
So we're missing one last, sadly. I'm Courtney Williams. I produce Outlander Behind the Scenes blog. This is Antoinette Simmons, who is just kind of a badass all on her own. Carmen Schmidt, who runs Outlander Anatomy, and we are missing our sister Kathy Toomer, who is a physician. So just quickly, we're going to do quick intros, like quickly tell who you are, what you do.
The reason that my blog is called Outlander Anatomy is because I was am a professor of human anatomy for almost 40 years and taught almost 8,000 medical students gross anatomy and microscopic anatomy. And I got interested in Outlander and in 2014 and thought it would be a great way to teach anatomy to the general public through the lens of Outlander, because there's a lot of anatomy, science, and medicine in it, and it's a lot of fun.
So quickly, I was a book fan since 2006. I started watching the show. I was really frustrated with the media coverage. It was, what's under your kilt, what's under your kilt, what's under your kilt. Mm-hmm. And I was having a conversation with Terry Dresbach online, and she was like, well, do something better. And I was like, well, I will. So I started my blog, and I endeavor to do something better.
Oh, that was short and sweet.
Yeah, because we only have 45 minutes. And
Very much I'm glad you I'm Antoinette. I am a criminal defense attorney, and I stumbled upon Outlander about 3 years ago in season 2. Was immediately entranced by it, and went and started reading all the books, went back to season 1, and then I had the good fortune of meeting my fellow panelists, and we've become friends, sisters of the heart, and we are united and brought together by our passion for Outlander, for all things Outlander, and for the world that it has opened up to us.
Yes, and we started together in season 4. I wanted a diverse group of women or people, and mostly women watch Outlander and read Outlander, to talk about some of the themes in season 4. And I originally thought, well, I'll switch people, but this was my first group, and we had so much fun, and we really gelled, so we stuck with this group.
Yep.
So today we are open. Okay, first of all, there will be spoilers.
Yeah.
So we can announce that, cover your ears. So we'll just say that up front. Yes.
Spoilers for 1 through 5?
No, for 6.
For 6. Okay, so if you don't want spoilers, for season 6, raise your hand. Okay.
But are they show spoilers or book spoilers?
Probably both.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't
don't
seen
know
the
about
show.
the show.
We don't know about the
Have you read the books?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't know any more than you do.
No. We don't have any insight.
How about you back there, sir? Are you okay if we have you read the books? If we do book spoilers and not show spoilers? Okay. Yeah. We'll do show conjectures.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're very good at that.
Yeah. Okay. So, as far as your questions, since we have masks on and stuff, if you want to stand up and state your question or comment, that would be great, and I'll repeat them. And we're open to anything, season 5, 6, 7, Bs, whatever you want to talk about. But I thought we'd start out with season 6, because that's on everybody's mind. Has everyone seen the teaser? I'm surprised they didn't show that today.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the teaser, panelists?
I think I have an idea of what that limp arm is, hanging as someone is carrying the person, obviously, toward the big house, I think. Mm-hmm. I have an idea of who that is, who the limp arm belongs to.
So, I was looking at that, and literally that's all we see in a
Yeah.
scene is a limp arm,
Yeah.
right?
But there is a part of the book where that could fit in, and
Yes.
that's why I think
Well, I think we're allowed to say that, right?
Yeah, we
Because
can.
that's
Okay.
a book. Yeah.
All right, well, you know how the book opens? The book opens with Ian in the woods, and Ian gets hurt. And I think that that might be him being carried into the surgery to get help because he gets injured fairly good in the book. And so I think that might be Ian.
Okay.
You all know who Ian is?
Young Ian. Yeah.
Young Ian,
Not so
yes.
young Ian, but yeah, young Ian. Middle-aged.
Any
Ian.
thoughts from you, Antoinette?
I wasn't sure who that person was in the opening line, but what I liked about the trailer is that it does what Outlander usually does to us. They open up with this lovely scene of Claire and Jamie riding in their wagon. Everything is happy and lovely. And then it just gets darker and darker and darker. I love it. And I'm looking forward to all the trauma and drama.
Did you guys watch the video from the New York Comic Con panel? Everybody, well, I'll just tell you a couple of highlights in case you didn't see it. They asked for, the moderator asked for season 6 in one word from each of the people on the panel. Diana said fabulous, and she said that season 6 is her second favorite season after season 1. Diana said that, so that made me really excited because she doesn't pull punches. Meryl said traumatic, and Diana said that's why it's my second favorite one. Sam said intense, and then he said extended. Kat said unraveled. Cesar said healing. Lauren said intimate, and John Bell said cathartic.
Did they all watch the same episode?
Did they what?
All
They all
watch
watch the same episode.
Yeah, exactly. Did they all watch the same season? I don't know. Well, I noticed that Malva Christie is eyeing up young Ian in the teaser.
Yep.
So I'm wondering about what storylines will be in now that you guys all know that season 6 is truncated to 8 episodes now, right?
Yes.
And that the first one will be 90 minutes. And it's called Echoes. So, any thoughts on what that might be? Matt said it does not refer to an echo in the bone.
Okay.
That's good to know.
I'm thinking that it might refer to Claire and the echoes of the trauma that she ended on in season 5. And I think that is the start of the journey of her unraveling and probably being brought back together, only for more drama to break out later. So it's good that she has the chance to unravel and probably get back together because we know that there are more storms coming. So that's what I think the echoes refers to.
I think also might be is echoes of the past coming back to haunt people. The Christies,
Yep.
and we know of Fergus's issues.
Yes.
I think young Ian, I think they're going to deal with his story while he was with Mohawk. So I think it might be like echoes of the past coming back to haunt.
Everybody.
Yeah, haunt everyone.
Interesting. And I do know that they were shooting at Castle Dune in the very, very beginning, like around when season 1 would be shot. So maybe we'll get some Castle Leo
And some
people.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
I would have
thoughts on
thought that, that Outlander would have made much more use of flashbacks in terms of exploring even more Jamie's journey, with Ardmere and, what happened at the battle. But maybe we'll see some of that in season 6, because if they're going backwards to go forwards, I think that would be very interesting.
Yeah. Well, there have been several references in these 2 panels about, or the interviews I've seen about that Tom Christie, that Janie knew him in the past. That they keep referencing that, so maybe that's part of the echoes.
I'm of the opinion that it's going to echo past parts that will come back, play into the current parts and how that influences them. They're humans just like all of us, and we know that our pasts echo with us all the time. I think we do anyway, and I think that is what we're going to see. I do want to say that the music of this trailer was just almost brought me to tears. I had never heard this folk song before. I think it's called "Wide as the Water." If I'm wrong about that, please correct me, but you can Google it. There's 3 verses to it, and it's really lovely. It's a love song, and I can see why it was chosen for the trailer. And it might be the song that repeats itself from here on through the season. Yes.
Did everybody like that song?
I like the a cappella singing too.
I thought
It's very folksy.
I thought it was a bit funeral dirgy. I mean, we know that Outlander can be dark, but come on, it's the trailer. You know what I'm saying? So I choose a song that has tones of a funeral dirge. I mean,
I thought
that's the vibe I got from it.
I got to say that I have to disagree with that, because I think it fits with what they were saying. It's coming. What's coming? The war is coming. And they've been through a war together, and the last time they were through a war together, they lost each other. And he lost a child, an unborn child, besides his wife, his beloved wife, and she lost him. And so I do think it's about loss, and I think that music fits with the message that is coming out. And Diana's books have some heavy stuff in them. They're not all lighthearted, although there's a lot of humor. There is some really serious things that go on in her tales.
Yeah, like real life.
Yep, exactly so.
I talked to Caitlin Gallagher of the Dip, and she had a really interesting theory on echoes. She thinks that perhaps they're going to start with Bree and Roger in the 80s.
Oh.
Kind of like they did in season 2.
Whoa.
Starting with Claire back and then Bree. And I thought, I could see that.
Yeah.
So they might do vignettes, like different storylines echoing forward and back.
I hope they don't.
Well, I did not love Perpetual Adoration when they jumped all over the place, timeline-wise.
No.
So I wouldn't want it like that, but it would be interesting.
Listen, my issue is that the books are so dense and full of so much stuff. And their timelines are truncated in terms of what they can get into episodes. So I'm always a bit upset when they waste screen time on stuff that doesn't move the core story forward. Now, we know that they were in the 80s and they were at Outlanderbts and all kinds of stuff happened. But are they going to get to explore that? I don't think so. So why waste time on that? That's just me.
On what exactly? Oh, on them in the 80s.
In the 80s. That's just me.
Yeah. Well, let's segue there.
She has a question.
Oh,
I
yes.
have a question.
Yes.
This goes to having Roger and Bree at Lollybrook in the 80s when they find the box with all the letters. I always have a heart. I mean, it's wonderful. I love reading it, but I always keep trying to figure out, now, how could this have happened?
That's explained.
Yes, it is
We'll
explained.
go to our book expert.
They put it in with a bank, if I remember right. They put it in the.
Now, how would that person know that, how many hundreds of years later to even watch for that?
Oh, I think it might have been sent before then.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a safe deposit box, isn't it?
So
it just sits there until whoever it's supposed to go to comes and gets it.
Yeah.
It's not like, there was a time traveler who brought it forward.
Now again, but I've had the hardest time with that. I mean, I think it's wonderful, and I think,
Yeah. That was such a smart vehicle.
yeah, okay, you said that.
It's very risky though, because, how do you know that bank is still gonna exist?
Oh,
This is true.
Well, the banks never die, do they? They just morph into another bank.
We died, the banks
But we
don't.
die.
Well, and especially in
The banks don't die, especially the English
Europe,
banks. Come on now.
exactly. I mean, like,
Yeah,
look
they
at,
are hundreds
look at
of
the
years
school
old.
institutions.
The Bank of
from
Scotland
the
has been around for
1400s.
like 300 years.
Yeah.
True.
So are there any storylines that people are hoping are not focused on or not brought into season 6?
Not
Oh.
focused on. Well, you know, let me not. That's a bit too controversial.
No, come on. Okay, we'll let you stew and
Yeah.
she'll say it in a minute. I'm kind of hoping we don't focus too much on Bree and engineering.
Well, I'm the opposite. I want to see Bree in engineering because I'm tired of the Bree that they're showing us. You know, because in the books, I mean, she is a prickly, difficult character, but I think, can you all hear me without the mic? Yeah. She's a prickly, difficult character, but that facet of her, engineering and making things, you know, shows to me the relationship and the similarities between her and Jamie. And I have missed that element of Bree. We have seen bratty Bree, we have seen all these different variations of Bree, but we have yet to see Bree the engineer. And they alluded to it in that conversation in 509. You know, whatever that looks like in this time, you have to figure it out. So I'm hoping that we see a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a whole 5 episodes
That's
now.
the
Like
key.
the plumbing, when she tries to create the plumbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
So let me restate and make clear. I would like to see that aspect of her. I don't want a whole episode devoted to Bree building the well.
And you know and you know we're gonna get it.
No.
And when it happens, we're all gonna be like, oh
Yeah,
my God.
Antoinette said it. Come
You know
on,
what
we're
I
gonna
don't
get
wanna
it.
See, what scares me, and every time I read this over, I cry. When Claire is sick, and we find out that Melba made her sick,
Yeah.
and they shave her head, and she tries to take Jamie. And then I'm like cheering for Claire, going, yes, you're back, don't let her do that. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm sure that's a big part of the story, and I know I'm gonna be crying when I'm watching it. And I don't wanna see it, but I know it has to be there.
I think the Christies are going to be a huge part of this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the actor that plays Tom Christie, he is phenomenal. I cannot wait to see him devour that role. He is great.
Yeah.
He really is. And what I'm interested in terms of that storyline is to see what parts of it they use, because obviously I don't think we're going to get that entire arc. We can't. Not in an 8-episode season, because a lot happens in that storyline. So I'm very interested to see which parts of it they pull out to give us the core of that interaction. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that the end part of it all makes sense with Melba and her brother.
Yes.
Well,
You know why they moved it to only 8 episodes?
COVID.
I think
COVID.
it's really
Kat was
because
pregnant.
Katrina is pregnant, and they
Filming around it.
there was like extreme weather, COVID, and pregnant lead.
Yeah.
And she's got a physically demanding role, and they can only do so much. And she's supposed to be like 61 and still in menopause. Does that happen at 61?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Okay, TMI.
That's terrible.
Yes, actually, there's
That's
a
the
range.
most upsetting thing about the whole
It's
thing.
She's
it's
supposed to
at
be
the far
61?
end, but it is
Yeah.
possible. Yes.
She's
Yes.
supposed to be 61, and here she is, like a pregnant
Are you
actress.
sure?
Yeah.
Well, she's not 61 in the story.
No,
Though
Yeah.
her not in, she's,
not in a breath of
Her as
fresh
an
air.
actress isn't 61.
No.
Playing a
It's-
61-year-old. Yeah.
Claire is like 58 to 61.
Yeah,
in
but
this
there's a
book.
big difference between 58 and 61. Come on.
You mean 3 years?
Okay,
No,
at the end,
it's
she's going to be
huge.
61, and we don't get there because
but she's not. pregnant
Katrina
in the
was very
story.
pregnant 61-year-old.
I would like to say that really don't think of anything that I don't want to see out of this book. It is my favorite book so far in the entire series. It is also the longest.
Yes.
It's almost 12. The hard copy is almost 1,200 pages long. And it's 200 pages longer than the next longest book. So she's got a lot to say in it, and it grabs you at the very outset and doesn't let you go until it's at the end. There are surprises around every corner. So I want to see all of it. I know I won't get to, but I really would like to see all of it.
Well, and there's so many.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you agree though, this book, even though it's longer, it's not like Fiery Cross where you kind of have to, you know it's gonna get good, it's gonna get good, but this one
Yeah,
is
but
good.
because Fiery Cross, that gathering was just went on too long.
Yeah.
I'm saying, come on now, something
The
happened.
diapers in the stream got old after a while.
But I think that one of the reasons that we might have an extended season 7 is that some of the storylines that couldn't be got to from A Breath of Snow and Ashes in 6, we're going to see them played out in 7
Let's hope
books.
so.
Well, they also know that if they came back and said, okay, 12 episodes, we'd be like,
No,
what happened to our
riot,
4 episodes?
riot, I riot.
Yeah,
I plan to riot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, A Breath of Snow and Ashes. The other thing is it has so many little vignettes,
Yes.
beautiful
Storylines.
moments that are not necessarily attached to anything. I think we're going to lose a lot of those because of time,
Probably.
which is sad.
Like which ones?
Oh God. I can't think, just little moments between Jamie and Claire, like,
Oh, yeah.
um,
Yeah.
like what after she runs away when Malva
Yes, that whole
drops the
conversation.
bomb.
She runs into the woods and
And they
he
have
does
that whole
fun.
conversation, and he tells her about,
About,
Mary McNabb, right?
yeah.
I mean, that may be in there, but there are just so many little beautiful, young Ian and Bree and the mammoth.
Dinosaur, or the mammoth
And where she
bones.
asks Frank to take care of Isabel, and just, all these beautiful moments in the book that aren't necessarily
Probably
part
not.
of any.
No,
But we know our production by now. They're going to go for the drama and some of the more slow, beautiful moments that we as book fans would love to see. We're not going to get it because for some reason they think that we are there for the drama. And my point has always been, they really need to know their audience. There's so much content on TV where you can go and get all the drama and all the Sturman drama that you want, but we don't watch Outlander. At least, let me back up. I don't watch Outlander for all that drama. I watch it for the lovely interpersonal relationships that you don't really see explored a lot in modern TV.
Yeah.
But there's so much trashy content on TV that's one of the reasons why we all go back and rewatch Outlander. because it's quality. But for some reason, they seem to want to focus a lot on the drama and not so much on some of those smaller, slower, intimate moments, which I think is a great loss to the show.
Another one of my favorites too, I can think of since you asked, when Jamie teaches Jemmy how to swim. Remember that scene? So beautiful. I don't know if it'll make it.
Yeah.
When the Indian woman is
Combs
combing the snakes from his hair, there's something really powerful about that scene.
when he tells
Indians
his
are going to
experiences
feature.
and
And he
remembers
tells
about
us
Culloden.
about Culloden. Yeah, exactly. I'm really interested to see Mrs. Wilson's funeral. I loved that. It's such great farce, and I just don't know.
But don't you think, I think watching the show made me want to read the books, because I found the show by flipping through channels.
Me
I was
too.
working from home, I wanted some white noise, I'm like, oh, this looks good.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I'm like, I need to watch this whole thing, and then I'm like, I need to get these books. And that was from then on.
Same here.
And there was so much more in the books that
Oh,
was
yeah.
wonderful. And I
Yeah.
kind of appreciate everything that's in the show, but I know there's so much more behind it. And sometimes I think, this.
Yeah. Sam said today that there's going to be a lot of religion in season
He did.
6.
Yeah.
Probably conflict. I assume. Yeah.
Exactly.
It does have it plays quite a part, especially in this particular book, I feel.
Yeah.
It does come up, so apparently they're going to take it on.
I love it. Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Give me all the controversy without the drama.
We're supposed to have the fisher folk are supposed to come too, I think. I think I saw some reference to that, we're gonna have who are all Protestants as well, so.
Right.
I would love to see the scene when all the fisher folk are in the kitchen praying and Claire comes down and they're all making the sign of the to ward
The horns.
the horns to ward up because they think she's a witch.
Yeah.
I mean, those kinds of, I would love to see that realized on screen.
Well, I think they are showing that to build to the kind of climax of Bree and Roger theoretically are gone, and then Richard Brown comes back to get them, and there's nobody there to protect them.
Yeah, but how are they going to do that?
But so the Protestant, why would the Fisher people turn against them? Because the Protestant Catholic thing is what I'm saying.
So Roger and Bree aren't gone.
But
So
you
what
don't
are they
know.
going? Are they going to? That's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
Because they didn't leave.
Right.
So how are they gonna bring them back? Are they gonna be there? I think it would be great if Roger and Bree were there and Roger gets into a fist fight trying to defend Clarence. I think that would be good.
bad. She's bad.
Probably not gonna happen. But it would be nice.
Why?
Because I am not a Roger fan. But Roger has grown on me in season 5. Most definitely. So I want to see a different side of Roger. I want to see Captain Mackenzie. I want to see a belligerent side of Roger. I want to see him stand by Jamie's hand as, son of the house.
Yeah.
That would they brought Myrta back. So why can't they create a
Bring
little
that part of
storyline for
Roger's
Roger?
character back?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I mean, the minute they brought Myrta back, all bets are off.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the Roger's character in the show though.
No, it isn't. I would like it to be though, because then I'll be more invested in the character.
Yeah.
I waffle. Well, I've gone from hating Roger to tolerating Roger to liking Roger by the end of season 5. I would love to
Everywhere
start
in
being able
between.
to root for Roger. Yeah, that's my man. Go Roger.
And what if
Kick some butt.
He's an intellectual, right? Like, so he's not. He's doing I feel like his love for Brianna is what's making him go outside of his comfort zone, or what he's always known of who he truly is. He's changing, and he's doing all of this because of his, he's chasing her. He's doing all that because of his love. And I think he's very intimidated by Jamie, clearly, right? Like, you have the
Well, he
man of
was.
I think he admires Jamie a
I
lot,
think-
though.
I
I think he
that-
really does.
But I think Jamie gives off this vibe, like, I'm going to crush you.
Yeah,
I think show Roger is less physical
yeah.
man
than
than
Book
Roger.
Roger. Yeah,
Book Roger was described as a pirate.
yeah. Tall, dark,
What
dashing.
was that part in season 4, or was it 5? I've been confused. When Jamie had the snake bite, when
5.
Roger
Five.
made some comment, or Jamie did, and Roger said, I'm not gonna miss taking advantage of this.
Yeah, that was in season 5, and that's one of the things that made me start to like Roger.
Yeah.
I think they went a long way in redeeming the Roger character, in season 5, from 7 onwards.
They
Yeah.
did a lot of redeeming in season
Oh
5.
yeah.
Carmen,
Yes,
our
ma'am.
anatomist, what are you looking forward to in season 6 in terms of surgeries or anatomy or medicine or broken things?
Gore.
Well, it's hard. There's quite a few things because there's a lot going on in this book. But there are 2 technical things that I want to see them present and would like to see them present it well. One is the stitching of Dupuytren's contracture of Christie's hand. I'm interested to see if they'll try to create that. They did such a beautiful job with when Jamie, from an anatomist point of view, in the repair of Jamie's hand after Blackjack had his way with it. And it was very realistic and well done. And I think that they could do very well with the Dupuytren's contracture. It requires a very specialized type of incision in order to repair it properly. And I think that would be really interesting. I'm fascinated to see what happens with Jocasta's eye and whether they will actually try to relieve her glaucoma with the embroidery needle with a sterilized embroidery needle. It's a very interesting idea that Diana had, and theoretically would probably be possible. The only thing is that I would like you to know that when she says that the vitreous humor oozes out of the side of her eye where the hole is, that is not correct. It would be the aqueous humor. That's the sort of detail I'm looking for when I read it.
Spoiler.
But what I really hope to see them portray very well is when Claire gets ill. I really want to see that, not because I want to see her harmed or her sick, but I just think it is the entire arc of that particular part of the book is so poignant, and it expresses their relationship so deeply with this creature, this girl. That's not a nice thing to say. Her name is Malva. Yeah. The word root means bad. Mal is the word root for malpractice, that sort of thing. Malfeasance. But she got it off of a shampoo. Black Malva shampoo is where she got the name from. I asked her, and she said, yeah, it came off a shampoo bottle. So she wasn't thinking of nominative determinism when she did that. She was looking at a shampoo bottle, which I thought is just a fabulous story. But I'm really looking forward to seeing that portrayed, and to Jamie's response to her parent death, or very near death, and her decision to come back. I think that is going to be really a terrific moment if they do it.
Yeah. To me, that's almost the center of the book.
Yes.
And I hope they don't play up too much. The Malva, when Claire sees her touching his back as she's about to die, and then she's like, that won't do, and she comes back. I mean, I hope they do it very subtly. So it's beautiful instead of girl.
Can I make another comment?
That's my man.
Yeah. I'm back.
I'd like to make another comment here, and that is that you all know that Diana says that her different books each has a shape. You remember that? Mm-hmm. This one has the shape of the Japanese print of the Great Wave.
Oh.
And except she envisions Mount Fuji with two great waves. Oh. One wave is beating on it is the American Revolution, and the other is all of the relationships and turmoil on the ridge and off the ridge. And in the center represents Jamie and Claire. Mount Fuji represents their solid commitment to each other and their love. And when you said, there they are standing in the center, that's what I hope that this whole season will go after, because that's how she envisions it, that they are the center of the story, and all of this turmoil goes around, but they stand sturdy and dependable and steady.
Yeah.
That's been a big theme for our group, is wanting Jamie and Claire to stay central to the story. And one thing I hope they don't do in season 6 is that Bree episode, Roger episode, Marsley episode. Let's have all Jamie and Claire episodes with other side stories. Other characters interacting, but not.
Yeah.
That's central.
Yeah. Because,
keeping with the Mount Fuji theme.
Yeah, because I think
of Jamie and Claire.
I think if the other characters are not as strong, and their storylines are not as compelling, then it almost seems like a waste of an episode. Yeah. Sometimes when an entire episode or most of it is devoted to characters that are not as compelling and storylines that are not as strong, in some sort of search for equity, making sure that everybody gets to shine. But my thought is that if the characters are well written and if the storyline is compelling, these guys are professionals. These guys are excellent at what they do. They will shine. You don't have to force them on us. Give them a good storyline, write it well, and they will shine.
Yes. I am excited that Cesar is going to have some meat this season.
Yes!
And I'm excited to see his acting chops. We really haven't gotten to
Once-
see him act much, you know?
No, we haven't. And I think he's great. And you know how much I love Lauren Ladd.
Yeah.
She's
gonna.
just phenomenal. Yeah. She's just taken over that Marcelly role and just,
Run with it.
yeah.
Do you
Great
guys,
casting.
do you guys have any questions or
Oh.
comments? No, you're good. I just want to make sure I open it up before we're not finishing yet, but anything.
Come on, let's have it.
What do you guys think about? Do you think the gold storyline is going to be in there?
Oh, I hope not.
I'm not sure.
But don't
I'm
we
not sure.
need the gold storyline?
No.
What are we going to do about the
The
bugs?
bugs were so small.
They were, I don't
They
even know
can't
why
have
they
the gold
bothered.
story.
The
Right.
bugs, they cut all the bugs.
Exactly.
Okay, but listen,
Yeah.
they brought Jocasta back. They brought Maria Doyle Kennedy back for season 6.
Ooh, she's back.
Yeah, why would they do
Ooh.
that if they're not going to do the gold storyline? Hugh
Cameron?
Ross plays Mr. Bug, right?
Yeah.
He was there the whole time.
But the problem is that in season 5, the bugs that we saw,
Yeah.
not anything at all like the book. How are they going to suddenly make this avuncular, nice-looking couple be you know, who they turn
Nefarious,
out to be?
Yeah,
That's,
sneaky.
that's
saw-
going to be
I saw a
difficult.
deleted scene of Mrs. Bug, and she was very busybody, like, you know, the neighbor on Bewitched.
Mrs. Kravitz?
Mrs. Kravitz.
Yeah, she was very much like that, and they cut those scenes. And sometimes I think they do that for time, and they more crunch people in one season versus build them over.
But you
Yeah.
know what, that I think that'll become a big thing later on, like in season 7 or 8, because that has a big thing with Jenny being
Jemmy,
lost,
right.
that whole thing.
Did
Yeah,
she said season, you said season 8.
I'm hopeful.
I'm hopeful. Did somebody? I saw something on Twitter about people saying season, or what did Sam really? He didn't.
Sam was non-committal about
Yeah.
it. Somebody asked or, you know, referenced it and he was non-committal about it. But
He said season 7. Oh yeah, season 8. Like,
yeah, season 8.
Probably just
Well,
got
but
so
I mean,
much going
I
on.
think depending on that, maybe that's how they'll bring the gold in, because it would be a big thing to bring in if they go that far. But if not, then it really wouldn't make sense, maybe.
Yeah, they did, and you can imagine when they do, they don't re-sign on the next season, so they don't know there's going to be a season, whatever, when they start a current season.
Yeah.
So they probably have to have, well, if this is the end, we do this, and if we're going forward, we
Yeah.
do this. I mean, they would find out before we do, but that's probably why they move things around a little bit. And they did put in that Jocasta gold in the carriage
Yes.
scene in season
Yes.
5.
Well,
so,
yeah.
So that was some kind of seed being planted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think, you know, Arch Bug is really important in the next book.
Yeah.
And so I think that if they're going to have him do that, maybe they're going to eliminate that whole story. I don't know of after the demise of Mrs. Bug, but what happens with him and Ian, I hope that gets to be part of the story. I think that's a very interesting
Very
arc,
interesting.
and I'd like to see them carry that through, but they haven't laid the groundwork for that unless they're
Yeah,
scurrying.
they're just going to spring it on us.
I think
and
it would
everybody-
be late in this
everybody's gonna
season if
say,
they
huh?
do it. Yeah.
Mr.
Could be.
Bug, that nice old gentleman,
That we never saw.
that we never saw, hardly.
Yeah,
And until he got knocked out in 512, didn't the banditti
Oh, did they?
knock him out
See, I
in,
didn't
in 512?
Oh, they did. He did help with the tonsillectomy.
Yeah, yeah.
He held the candle or something.
Yeah, I think he was holding one of them or holding a pan or,
Yeah.
you know, something.
And
They're peripheral though.
Then whether they're gonna go to season 8 even.
Yeah.
Because then they would have to build up that character, if not,
Well,
they, you know.
Well, we're speaking season 8 into the universe.
that's right.
Yes.
And you know, Diana has always said that they could never catch her on the show, but this last book took 6 years.
Yes. Oh no, 7.
Was it 2014?
14 was Moby was already out in 2014, so she started.
I think it came out in June 2014, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. But it was 2014 before the series started.
Right.
Right. So I don't remember the exact month, but she started writing then, so I think it's pretty close to 7 years.
I do remember because I went to the beach with my mom and we both had our, and the kids, and they'd say,
You didn't
"Grammy
even look at the water.
Grammy won't come out of her room." I'm like, she's in there with Jamie, just, give her a little time.
Let her get her Jamie on.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that Duncan is going to be in season 6, like a flashback, like this Battle of Morse Creek Bridge or something?
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, that would be too much.
What about Graham as Buck? That's the whole, are they going to bring in?
Not for this season, I don't think.
He'll
Maybe
be back the
'cause,
next year.
Graham is in 15 different shows right now.
That's true.
So I'm not sure.
How do we think it's going to end? Where are they going to cut it off?
I want to see William.
I do
me
too,
too.
but is it possible?
They never even said anything about casting or.
Well, they wouldn't.
Nothing.
They would. He would be a huge reveal, but
Yeah.
do we think that's possible? If
I don't see him at the end.
if Echoes is a flash forward, back, or whatever, he could be.
Do you think that? Don't you think they'll include the burning of the big house?
Oh yes, they have to.
Well, he comes before that. I mean, if they stick with the chronology, which they don't necessarily do,
They never do.
No.
the burning comes after.
Yeah, but they meet at Bonnet's death, and Bonnet's dead,
Yeah.
so they're gonna have to have another reason to. I was
Yeah.
thinking they might meet because of going to the ordination or looking for a gemstone for Mandy.
Well, they were going there to look for gemstones.
And that's how they met.
Yeah.
Because
Was it on
Lord
that
John
trip? I thought it
happened
was
to be
different.
there for some reason. I know.
No, there were two trips. One was a
Yep.
gemstone trip,
Yeah.
and then they went back for the Stephen Bonnet.
Oh, but they got rid of
execution.
Stephen Bonnet in 5,
Yeah.
so they can't go forward with that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
It'll be interesting to see how they do all this.
I was very, very heartened by how they managed to do drums in season 5. I was very, very impressed by how they managed to, compress it and still give us the core. I mean, we didn't get the gathering. We didn't get so many of the things that were in that book, but we got the essence of it
Yeah.
through how they used it. So that has given me a lot of hope. I think they've finally figured out, how to go back to what they did so well in seasons 1 and 2,
Yeah.
and the first part of season 3, which is to whittle down to the essence of the story and then build the episodes around that. So I am very, very excited for season 6 because of what happened in season 5. And a lot of the creative decisions, which I think some of which were bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
And so I am very excited for what's going to happen in season 6.
How many of
glad
you
that-
think that Jamie, Sam and Kat being executive producers helped with those creative decisions?
Most
Anybody
definitely.
think that?
Yep. Yep.
I
mean,
but
and Sam
supposedly
said-
they didn't get that active till the end of season 5.
Towards
though.
the end of it, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder about that.
Well, I thought it got better
It did get
as
better.
as the season went,
Yeah,
went
yeah.
forward.
Yeah, because I mean, at one panel, I remember Sam saying that himself and Katrina regard themselves as the guardians of these characters.
And they are.
And they are.
Yeah.
They are the continuity from the start to now. And I think that their influence and as producers, when you're talent, you can talk all you want. Nobody listens to you, really. They might say, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, but then go ahead and do what they want anyway. But when you get that producer credit, what you say carries a little bit more weight. And so I'm thinking that their influence was definitely seen towards the end of season 5.
Yeah.
I think from 507 onwards,
Yeah.
we saw that, come out very, very strongly. And so I am very, very excited. I think that season 6 is going to be epic. And if it isn't, what's my favorite word?
Right.
Riot.
I think a lot of it has to do with the cohesiveness of the writing
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
Because seasons 1 and 2 had the same team of writers, and they were really, and then in 3, they were there for the first half of 3, and that's
They
exactly
stumbled.
when it kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
They brought in these new writers, and then
Too
season
many.
4 was just like people each turned in their book report, and they hadn't even talked to each other, you know. But now they're back in season 5, so hopefully, I talked to a TV producer one time, and he said the hardest thing to do in a long-running TV show is retain talented writing staff, because, you know, look at the drought. They have to go find other work, you know, and then they go back and try to get them, and they're busy, and they get new people, but at least they need to have read the book.
Yeah.
That helps.
That helps. That helps.
Not just the chapters they're responsible for, but the entire book.
So that they know the people that they're trying to bring to the screen.
Carmen, you have so many notes here. You want to say some things?
No, I think they're
Oh,
about
these
to
are not
figure
all
us
my
out.
notes. This is what I have before me is the longitudinal highlights of the book, because you know it's so long, and there are so many goings and comings. It's hard to remember what it was, but I just looked it up. It was the gemstones they went back for when Bree meets William.
It was the gemstones?
Yeah, it's right
I
there.
told you.
So they did the gemstones and the execution at the same
Yeah,
time?
that's
Okay.
and then after she meets William, she shoots up on
Okay,
it.
are we recording? You were right. I was wrong.
I was right too. Come on,
And
give me
you
my
were right.
props.
You were both right.
Thank
I
you.
was wrong.
All right, you're done.
Are you ready to be done?
No. I don't want to inconvenience
No, he
the
just-
other
he
panelists like
told
how
us.
the other ones inconvenienced us.
Yes. He told us we could go over a little bit, but
Yes, he did.
what else do you guys want to talk about? Anything?
I just think the cinematography of that show is so beautiful.
Oh,
That's one of the things we really love about it.
it's
And that
gorgeous.
really changed over season 5 was like a whole new world there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I thought season 5 was just gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
That's one of the things that we went on and on about in our episode discussions, which y'all should check out
Yes.
if y'all don't already listen to them.
Outlanderbts.com is the website, and it's also on YouTube. And we talk our heads off about these episodes.
And yeah,
But it's like
we imbibe a lot of
intelligent.
liquor.
It's not, yeah. And we drink while we talk. I don't, but they do.
Oh yeah.
And one time I did it.
I'm the only one who drinks.
No, not
No,
true.
you're not.
And we're about to go drink right now. That's why she's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. Let me get my drink on.
I would like to ask the folks here, what is their one scene that they would like to see appear in season 6? Do you have a favorite scene that you want to see? Mine was when Claire gets sick. What would you like to see?
Yeah.
Most of all.
I want to see everything.
I agree with you. I want to see when Claire gets sick, and I want to see when she comes back, and you just want to pop Mel and Christy. That's what I want to see.
I wanna see
them
that
to do
slap.
Really well. Yeah, it's like, you're out of here. Don't even think about it.
Anybody else?
They just want to see everything, right? Everybody wants to see everything.
Well, I think there's about 3 people that said that was what they wanted to see.
Yeah. I think this actress is going to do a good job as Malva Christie.
Yeah.
She looks a lot like Laura Donnelly.
Yes.
She does.
And she's Irish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
She has
very
that Celtic
short.
spirit going on. I love
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
They're almost able to channel their characters. There's just something about that Celtic heritage.
Claire finally her hair was cut off. I want to see that scene play out.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
when they cut off Claire's hair and she
Claire
realizes,
finally-
oh yeah. Yeah. I think Katrina would kill that.
I just want to see her pop Mel and Christy.
Oh, streak of violence in you, isn't it? Yeah. She just wants to see Malva get popped.
Well,
Well,
guys,
you too.
thank you so much for coming, and definitely do check out our discussions. We'll be back for season 6. And yeah.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you
guys.
for coming.
I enjoyed it.